He didn't ask for medals. He didn't want a folded flag. What he whispered on his deathbed would never be recorded in history, and yet, if revealed, could shake the world's foundations. In that quiet hospital room, between a dying soldier and the President of the United States, a secret was passed. And it was never meant to be told. The Air Force Medical Center was cloaked in silence, broken only by the distant hum of machines and the faint whisper of prayers. Room 17 had become more than a hospital room. It was a sacred space. Inside lay Senior Airman Caleb Rios, just 22 years old. Decorated, respected, dying. Doctors had done what they could. But the cancer caught too late was merciless dot outside the secure ward. Quiet murmurs stirred. An unexpected guest was in the building. President Donald Trump. No cameras. No media. Just a quiet visit to wounded and terminal service members. He had come without fanfare. Inside, Lieutenant Lisa Turner, Caleb's nurse, gently patted his hand. "He's coming, Caleb," she whispered. "You're about to meet the president." Caleb blinked, slow and heavy. His body was failing, but his eyes still carried fire. "I don't care about shaking his hand," he rasped, voice like dry wind. "I have something I need to ask him." Lisa smiled softly. "Then ask. He'll be here in just a moment." Down the hall, Trump walked quietly with 2 Secret Service agents and a senior Air Force general. His face was solemn. This wasn't politics anymore. This was personal. As they reached room 17, Trump paused. He could hear the soft beeping of the heart monitor. Lisa opened the door gently. "Mr. President," she said quietly. "He's been waiting." Trump stepped inside. The room fell still. Sacred. Caleb opened his eyes slowly, registering the figure beside him. "President Trump," he whispered. Trump stepped closer, pulled a chair to his side, and sat. "It's an honor to meet you, Caleb." Caleb coughed, weak but present. Then he smiled. "I don't have much time left, sir, but before I go, I need to ask you for something." Trump leaned in. "Anything, son." The room fell into a hush. Caleb drew in a shallow breath. And then he said the words that stopped everyone cold. "Don't bury me with medals. Bury me with a secret." Trump blinked, caught off guard. "A secret?" Caleb nodded slowly. His voice barely a whisper. "No flags, no speeches, just something the world doesn't get to see, something only you'll carry." Lisa and the general exchanged uncertain glances. The Secret Service quietly stepped back. Trump's expression softened. "You've earned every honor, Caleb. Why keep something hidden?" Caleb smiled faintly. "Because I didn't fight for people to remember my name. I fought to keep a promise. And now I want you to protect it." Lisa reached into the bedside drawer and handed Caleb a small notebook. His trembling fingers passed it to Trump. The cover was plain, worn, unmarked. "Is this the secret?" Trump asked. Caleb nodded. Double quotes, everything is in there. Names, places, a mission that never got approved. "We did it anyway." Trump held the book carefully. "Why?" "Me?" Caleb's eyes welled up. "Because you'll understand. And you'll know what to do with it." Trump opened the first page, then closed it quickly. He could feel the weight inside. "I'll read it," he said quietly, "and I'll honor your wish." Caleb exhaled. His body relaxed. Thunder rolled softly outside the window. Inside the room, a single tear traced down Trump's cheek. This wasn't just a hospital visit anymore. It was now a mission. Caleb's breath began to slow. Lisa stepped closer, watching the monitors. "He's..." she whispered. Trump looked at Caleb. "He held on just to see you." Caleb opened his eyes one final time. "Thank you," he whispered. "Keep the promise." And then silence. A flat line. Trump sat motionless. the notebook clutched tightly in his hands. A chaplain entered quietly and said a prayer. No one spoke. Lisa turned to the president. He never told us what was in that notebook, just that it mattered. Trump nodded slowly. Then I'll make sure it always does. That night, alone in his private quarters, Trump laid the notebook on the table. He opened the first page, Operation Ember Wolf, Unauthorized Rescue Mission, Syria, 2022. Trump's brow furrowed. This operation didn't exist in any official document. He kept reading. Inside were coordinates, names, details of a covert mission carried out without orders. A team of 5 had saved an entire village, 19 civilians, including children, despite knowing they were violating direct commands. They risked their careers, their lives, their honor, all to do what was right. At the end of the notebook was a final message. I know what we did. I'd do it again. But I never wanted credit. Just don't let them rewrite the truth. Promise me that. Trump leaned back. The burden was heavy. If exposed, the mission could cause chaos. If buried, truth would die with Caleb. The next day, Trump met with his chief of staff in private. Hypothetically, he asked, if an airman confessed to an unauthorized rescue that saved civilians, what happens? An investigation? Even posthumously. The chief replied, even if it was morally right? Especially then, it could embarrass leadership. That's when Trump knew. This wasn't about publicity. This was about protection. Among the names in the notebook, one stood out. Airman Caleb Rios, Caleb's older brother. Presumed missing, possibly dishonorably discharged. But now, the truth changed everything. These men weren't rebels. They were heroes. Trump arranged a meeting with Tasha Greer, a former medic on the Ember Wolf team, now working at a clinic in Oklahoma. When he arrived, she stood frozen. Sir, Caleb didn't make it, did he? Trump shook his head. He gave me this, he said, handing her a sealed envelope. Tasha's eyes filled with tears. We weren't supposed to do it, but we couldn't leave those kids behind. She opened the envelope. Inside was a letter and a private invitation. Back in Washington, Trump held a private meeting with a handful of trusted generals. I want to honor a team, he said. No cameras, no medals, just acknowledgement. Some were hesitant. A Vietnam veteran stood and said, they did what we all hope we'd do. I'll stand by this. It was decided. The Ember tribute. In a quiet room. No flags, no ceremony, only presence. 5 team members arrived. Then came someone no one expected. Kenneth Rios, Caleb's brother. Back from the shadows, Trump stepped forward. You were listed Mia. I was alive, Kenneth replied, just silenced. He looked around the room. This tribute isn't for me. It's for Caleb. No, Trump said. It's for both of you. You made the same choice. Later, Lisa handed Trump a letter from Maria Rios, Caleb's mother. He didn't want glory, just dignity. You were the right one to carry his final promise. Trump folded the letter and slipped it next to the notebook in his coat. He turned to Lisa. Double quotes. Did Caleb ever tell you what Ember Wolf meant? She nodded. It was something a child in that village said. You brought the fire that saved the wolves. Days later, Trump sat in the Oval Office. A small custom-made medal lay before him. No rank, no title, no record, got only these engraved words. For courage. Beyond command, Ember Wolf. He never gave it publicly. Instead, he sent it privately. Maria Rios received it in a plain box, along with a note. He didn't ask for a medal, so we didn't give him one. But we made one anyway. Not for war, but for the courage to defy silence. Donald J. Trump *. She clutched it to her chest. He finally came home. She whispered. One by one, each surviving member received a letter, not a medal. And every letter ended with the same words. The world may never know your story, but I do, and I'll carry it until my last breath. Back at the medical center, Lisa requested a transfer closer to Caleb's hometown. She kept a photo in her drawer. Caleb and Kenneth, covered in dust, smiling, from a mission no one ever knew. Every new veteran she met, she listened longer, because truth doesn't always live in records. Sometimes it hides in the silence. That night, Trump reread the notebook one last time. War isn't always about fighting enemies. It said, sometimes it's about saving strangers. He looked out the window and whispered, I promised.